If we look at the whole bike, it's easy to recognize that there is something missing over here. Welcome back for another episode of the Ducati Scrambler Project. In this episode we're gonna take care of something I've been thinking about for a while. Panniers or bags. In this case, for this bike, I rather have soft bags. The bag obviously take care of two things. First of all, fill up this space, which compared to the rest of the bike is kind of empty. Second of all, they're actually functional. You now have saddlebags, so you can actually toss in a few things and take it for a longer trip. Looking around, looking at what the market offers for the Scrambler when it comes to saddlebags, there are a billion options. The problem is, once you remove the bag, everything looks awful. Everything looks like the bracket is being made out of scrap metal that they picked up on the street. One of the best options I was looking at was the SW Motex frames, which are kind of symmetrical, but the attachment point can only accommodate SW Motex bags. I kept looking and looking until I finally came across something that is actually good looking and super versatile. What I'm talking about are the Kriega platforms and the Kriega bags. Now, Kriega is a solid company. They make bags for multi-toto bike, but what drew me to them, other than obviously the great care that they take in making their own products, is the way the brackets or platform for their bags looks. It looks like a vintage number plate. It looks like it belongs on this bike, because the whole purpose of this bike is to have a modern bike with vintage look. So those platforms look great. That means when you don't want to carry the bags around, you can remove the bags and the bike still looks good. The bike doesn't look like you're carrying metal to the scrapyard. Enough with the chit chat, let's get on it. First thing we need to do is to lower the rear fender. And in theory, we just need to lower it to access those 2 points, so we're able to screw in the brackets. But how do we lower the rear bracket? Well, it's simple. It should only be 3 screws. A 3mm Allen key over here, a 4mm Allen key over here, and a 5mm Allen key over here. On my bike it's marked in blue, so there is one here, obviously this, and the one on the other side. 3mm first, 4mm next. Gee, they're tight. And 5mm last. At this point we're gonna go and repeat everything on the other side. Once the last one is removed, this whole piece will just come down. Now, you do not have to unplug anything or remove anything. You just moving this one down to give you some room. So this is it. We're gonna rest it on the rear tire and gonna start working on it. As you guys can see, the brackets are different in length, but no worries of which one goes where, because once you take them apart, the side that actually plugs in to the motorcycle are exactly the same, so you cannot make a mistake. It's mistake proof. Once you have the bracket installed, the 2 spacers are different size, but we're gonna get to that once we get there. For now, we're gonna grab a small screwdriver and we're gonna pop those caps. 1 and 2. Ducati was nice enough to have a threaded hole already here, so it doesn't get any easier than that. You get the mounting bracket, you get the provided screw. Now this one, it's not an Allen key, this one is actually a Torx, and to be specific is a T40. So we grab this and put it on. As you guys can see, if I just put this on, this thing is gonna push against the seat, and as you push on the seat, this part, which is hard right here, is gonna touch. And I've heard of complaints that it's gonna touch hard enough to actually ruin the seat. So because I really like these pods, what I've done, I got myself those little spacers. Those are about just less than 1/4 inch, or 3, maybe 4 millimeter. I'm gonna put it in there. It's gonna steal just a little bit of the thread, but it's not enough to weaken the plate altogether. So put that spacer in, and then put this on. At this point I'm gonna grab my T40. As you guys can see now, there are at least 2 millimeter space between the bracket and the seat itself. So there is not going to be such a big pressure anymore. Problem solved. Now, because I put the spacer on this one over here, I'm going to have to put a spacer on the next one over as well. So spacer in. And on. At this point it's obvious which one of them is gonna need the longer spacer. It's obviously the one in the back. So it's time to grab our plate and the spacer, put the screw through the plate, then through the spacer and in. Let's go with the second one. Just like before, spacer in the back, screw, and in. Very good. It's spaced just far enough apart, it looks great, and in theory it's not going to ruin anything. So at this point I can tie up the screws in the back. Super solid. Once everything is installed properly, I can actually remove the plate one more time, because later on we're gonna have to put the fender back on it. Here we go, the plate is off, let's move on to the other side. So the other side is just a repeat. I'm gonna put the bracket, I'm gonna put the spacer, I'm gonna put the plate, and so on. You guys go ahead and do it, I'll spare you the whole thing, and I'll catch you up in a minute. The brackets are in place and they're solid, so it's time to put our fender back on the bike, and the procedure is the same as before, but in reverse. We're gonna put the wires from the turn signals and the license plate light back in where they belong, and then you're gonna put the screw back in place. Now when it comes to this one over here, there is this little spacer in the back, important not to forget. So let's get the spacer back in. And last, we're gonna put in the little one over there. Here we go. Once the screws are in place, we're gonna move to the other side and put those other screws in. When it comes to the torque specs for those screws under here, the only thing I could find was 8 Newton meters. So I tied them to that, but in my opinion they were way tighter than 8 Newton meters when I took them off. So it seems to be sturdy enough, so it's now time to put the plates back on the brackets. Very easy installation, and the plates are really easy to put on and off. And as far as I know, Kriega does not give any torque specs for those bolts, but they go in quite a bit, so when you think it's solid enough, I guess it's good. In my case, I'm gonna hand tie them. Very solid and good looking. The bike really does look good with this. This looks a lot like one of those vintage number plates for off-road bikes. But if you're still not that happy with the way they look because you want it more vintage, more number plate, what you can do, you can spend 10 bucks, link in the description, for one of those old number plates and put it over there and make it look exactly as if this is a number plate. In my opinion, the Kriega bags are great. They look the part, they're the right size, and they're fully waterproof. So that's what I got myself. But if you don't want to use the Kriega bags, you can actually use whatever saddlebags you want to buy. You want to buy those cheap 20 bucks saddlebags, you can actually toss them on top of the seat and use this to secure them down. And if you're the very adventurous type that needs extra gas because you go farther into the woods where there are no gas stations, guess what? You can attach to this thing one of those red gas tanks. Red over here, white on the other side. You just extended your adventure. So very versatile. As I said, they look pretty good. So with the bag, without the bag, it still looks really, really good. Just like the bracket, the bags can be used with any brackets, even the OEM brackets from Ducati. So if your Scrambler already has the brackets that comes from the factory, but you really like those bags, you can actually get those bags, and because the way they attach to the bracket, they can be used with most of the brackets out there. So great product, very versatile. I'm really, really happy the way they look in Albe's ADV fashion. They look like they belong. The bags go on easy, come off easy. The only thing you need to do is undo those, and as you pull, you can see those straps come off the holes in the back. 1, 2. Go to the other side, do exactly the same thing. 1, 2, and the whole thing comes off. And now you have the bags. Not only that, they provide you with a shoulder strap so you can actually take those bags anywhere you go. And then when you're done, go back, installing them just as easy. So it looks good. So you just grab them just like saddlebags. You toss them across. The only thing you need to do is pass those through the holes. Like this, and then tie them up front. There you have it. The bags is back on. So another installation is complete. The installation, as always, was very, very easy and gives you great result. The bike looks great either with the bags on or with the bags off, so you don't have to undo the brackets. The way those platform looks, in my opinion, is great. It matches anything this bike was supposed to be. As always, for anything I used in this video, check down the description below. If you want to support the channel, get yourself one of those fantastic Albe's ADV shirt. Other than that, if you like the video, like. If you love the video, subscribe. In the meantime, dirt on, and I'll see you next time.